You are about to hear a new twist in an old tale. It all began in the 13th Industrial Revolution, back when steam power was our greatest future. For you see, we all saw the miracles of steam and mineral power. We all used it, and people used it to get rich. The one who was the richest was Ebenezer Scrooge, the one who owned the biggest steam plant and sold the cybernetics, mechanical arms and legs which were powered by steam, and flying machines and trains, all run by his plant. And he also collected debts and loans, and he was quite stingy, quite cruel. His loyal ally Bob Cratchit was even cheated by him. There was nobody who did not like the stretch of London. In fact, he was hated by everyone in England. But good news, something would happen which would change his ways forever. He would be visited by spirits. One of his old boss, Jacob Marley, he came to Scrooge in a boiler in the plant, shooting out of the fireplace. Marley said, "Hello, Scrooge, my old friend. I have been condemned by my greed and wretchedness. I give you a chance. I sent free spirits to tell you the error of your ways. So, may you please learn from them, or you will be doomed to repeat my fate for all eternity. May you please heed their warning, Scrooge." Scrooge went home, curious if what Marley was real. So when I decided to do Jacob Marley, I wanted him to fit the steampunk era look. So I had this whole thing with a steampunk twist because it's in Victorian times.
You can see the chains that keep Marley tied to the earth. The fireplace looks good because it's grey and it's foreboding, and even the whistle on top, it looks half broken. And Scrooge looks very terrified the way he's looking at Marley.
When the bell tolled one, the first spirit came, a beautiful woman made out of wax, with mechanical arms attached to her to give her her form to keep her from melting away. The ghost took her to the past, so Scrooge would reflect on his wicked ways, seeing what he has lost due to his greed, his lover, and he found out that the people he has affected in the past still are with him. So one has to wonder, how much can one man lose due to greed? Quite a lot, actually. Many a lover. Anyway, the candle ghost. For you see, we all know that she's made of wax, so I figured if this is a steampunk time, maybe allow a machine which is keeping her from melting away. I made her candle top like a hat, and the wick like her hair.
Well, we can see the ghost of Christmas past, who is a girl because she has nice long hair, and there's the clouds, and Scrooge is looking at himself when he was young and his girlfriend.
I also gave the ghost of Christmas past eyelashes.
That's good.
Also, I'd like to point out that the machine on her back is what's keeping her from melting away.
Okay.
Also, do you think it's a nice detail that the smoke is coming off from the candle and then heading for the floor?
Yes.
The ghost disappeared, and the second ghost came. A giant man with a steam boiler for a stomach, and turned the room into a ginormous airship, innate and golden. Scrooge and the airship flew into the sky, like looking down at the city below, seeing all the people Scrooge affected. Saw his assistant Bob Cratchit's family sitting down for a meal, and despite how cruel he was, Cratchit still cared for him, and he saw poor Tiny Tim. Tim was sick, and his machines were wearing down. So one has to wonder, how long does poor Tim have to live? The ghost said, poor Scrooge and poor Tim. What will happen when people lose faith in both of you? The giant disappeared, and so did the airship, and the crew of the airship would consist of two creatures. The ghost of the present. We all know that he likes to eat, and in the original story there were actually two children which embodied the worst of humanity. So I figured I'd give the giant stomach I make this giant stomach a furnace, and I would make the children like a little crew as punishment.
There's the ghost of Christmas present, and his stomach is like a big boiler, and the two figures on the side are children who are waifs and strays, and they put coal into his stomach, and Scrooge is looking at
down on the city, because in an old movie which I saw, the ghost turned a room took Scrooge flying across the city in a room.
Okay.
So I figured, with a steampunk aesthetic, I'd make it like a ginormous steam-powered airship.
Alright.
Also, the ghost of Christmas present has been known to have a lot of food around him, so I figured with the steam aesthetic, he would be eating coal.
Alright.
You have to admit though, he's kind of clever. Also, the way how I made the city does really look like we're looking down at it.
Okay.
Anyway, the final spirit, a grim reaper-esque ghost with mechanical bones and covered in rust. His eyes were flaming like a boiler, and his clothes were like black industrial fog and soot and exhaust, which would bellow out from the top of a ginormous factory chimney. Anyway, the ghost showed him the consequences. Tiny Tim had fallen and never got back up. All of London cheered Scrooge's death, and they took delight in looting and raiding him. And Scrooge saw his own grave. The coffin opened up, and rusty chains, like the chains which bound Marley, jumped out of the coffin, dragging Scrooge down into the coffin, which looked like a ginormous industrial fire, with cogs, gears, and rust and oil spewing out. Scrooge woke up in a terror, promising that he would change his wicked ways. When Scrooge woke up, he had avoided his death, and he had decided to change his ways like he promised. He ran up the streets, giving charity money to all, helping the others, and cancelling the wretched debt, helping to fix those who were injured by his machines, and he helped Tiny Tim get better, made Bob Cratchit his partner, his equal, and they both became rich. and the city became better as time would go on. And so, Scrooge has learned his lesson, and he did not see them, but he knew that the free spirit and his old partner Marley were watching him and saying, "Good job, Scrooge, you did well, and maybe you'll be an inspiration to others. Take care, and Merry Holidays and a Happy New Year." And as for the final ghost, pretty obvious, dark, scary, industrial smog fits that, and rusty bones to show that he's really old.
I like the ghost of the future. He looks really spooky. He has sort of like a pumpkin head and the Reaper's cloth. And then you see Scrooge and he's happy, and you see Tiny Tim and the father who's holding him. So you can see what was before and what Scrooge has turned into and being a happy person.
I also put the other ghosts and Marley as a cloud looking down and saying, "Good on you, Scrooge, you've learned your lesson." Also with the whole steampunk aesthetic, I put smoke lines on the ghost of the future to make it look like he's industrial smoke.
Okay.
Also, the brownish orange is to be like rust.
Right.
You know, what you'll find on a rusty old machine. And seeing as how in the future something rusts away, that's why I made him rusty.
Okay.
Anyway, have fun! Thank you for watching. If you want to support us, please purchase the new hoodies at agmerchemporium.com, and please visit our comic book store in the links. If you want an art commission, then please go to our Facebook. Have a nice holidays and Happy New Year! Have a great time!